Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Wade, and I'm a guide at Get Set Up. And today we're going to be talking about AI and cybercrime, the rise of cyber kidnapping. Let's start by talking about what cyber kidnapping is. There's something that criminals have been doing for quite a while, which is called virtual kidnapping. And that's basically when they call a victim and tell them they've kidnapped a loved one, but they really haven't. They're just trying to convince the person that they have done the kidnapping. Cyber kidnapping is when criminals use AI voice cloning tools and chatbots like ChatGPT to perform a virtual kidnapping scam. And the reason they use those AI tools is because, one, it makes it much easier for them to gather information and do the scam, but it also allows them to make the scam much more believable, which makes it more likely that they're going to get paid for the crime. So let's talk about how it works. So first, they use AI to scan social media looking for potential victims. They'll go to social media sites and first try to identify people that have enough money to pay their ransoms. And then they also need to find potential victims who have a loved one that they would pay that money to get back. It's typically a child or maybe a grandchild. And finally, they're looking for a scenario where that potential kidnappee is out of the country somewhere traveling, because that makes it much more believable as well. So once they've identified their victim, the next thing they want to do is to harvest voice biometrics. And what we're talking about here is they'll go to social media again and try and get videos from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter of that potential kidnappee's voice so they can use it for the call that they're going to make later. Then the next thing they would do is to actually make the call. Lots of times they use voice modulation software to make their voice sound more scary and menacing than it is potentially. The reason they want to do that is that if you're talking to someone that sounds very scary, you're going to believe that they would hurt your loved one. And it also gets you very nervous and stressed. And in that case, you're apt to make poor decisions and give money that you wouldn't if you were thinking about it in a more calm state. And while they're talking to you over the phone, they're going to be running deep fake audio. So of the potential kidnappee, and so saying that please help. They've captured me. Things to convince you that they really do have that person under their control. And lately, they're using technology to even use deep fake videos and to make deep fake photos, so they can actually send a picture or a video to the potential victim while they're talking to them over the phone as additional proof that they have indeed kidnapped their loved one. There's an actual case from Arizona where a woman reported that an anonymous caller called her and said that they had her 15-year-old daughter and demanded $1 million in ransom to release her. She could clearly hear her daughter crying and yelling and pleading in the background during the call. But she continued to talk to the kidnappers, and actually they dropped the ransom from $1 million to $50,000. That's a good tip that it's not a true kidnapping. And also, she several times during the call, she said, "Please let me talk to my daughter," and they would not let her talk to the daughter. That again is a tip that they really don't have the daughter in their control set, that it is a virtual kidnapping. So let's talk about some things you can do to protect yourself from this type of cyber crime. First, since most of the information that they use is gained from social media, make sure you're securing your social media sites. Do the typical things you should always be doing. Have a good, strong password and use two-factor authentication to lock your site down. Also, think about what you're sharing on social media. We like to share information about what we're doing and what our family's doing, but especially sharing information about traveling is not necessarily a good idea. So instead of saying my son is on vacation in Panama for 3 weeks, maybe you should wait until he gets home and then say, my son had a great trip in Panama. Here's some pictures he took. It's much safer in that sense. Also, never electronically send money during the first call. Continue to talk to them, and unless you're positive that they have your loved one, hang up and maybe even make arrangements for them to call you back. But once you hang up, contact the authorities. You can contact your local authorities, but you can also contact the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. And to do that, just go to www.ic3.gov. So thanks for joining us. And in closing, just remember knowledge, awareness, and vigilance are keys in protecting yourself from any scams. So please be careful